She gets up at 5:30 a.m. in the morning. She gets ready, goes to her tuitions from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. She then heads back to her school from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. She is in her school. She comes back home, changes, and then goes for tuitions, which are from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. And she does this on a daily basis. She is Aditi, he is Rahul, or maybe anyone who's sitting in this room, and every day they're following the same pattern. And trust me, every time this pattern is being followed, he or she is cursing their parents. The irony is that the parents want their child to become something which they couldn't achieve in life. They want them to transform into something so big in life, which was their dream. So they're imposing their entire energy upon their children. Okay, I have a question. How many of you enjoyed the movie Dangal? We saw a dedicated father transforming his two kids into wrestlers that India has never produced. And all of us were clapping inside the movie hall, right? Now spare a thought for similar children who wilted under the same kind of pressure that was put by their parents, because everybody does not have the same caliber. I mean, if you're going to judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, that is never going to happen. I face similar situations in my households also. We do events in Dehradun, and in our events we have about 100 volunteers who have to stay back for the entire night. And trust me, majority of the parents have to be called by us to make them believe that yes, their ward is at the right place, because the parents just don't believe what the children are telling to them. All of us have seen a spring, haven't we? What happens is, the more force you apply on a spring, the more energy it will retaliate and it will come back. And that is exactly what happens in the case of children. There was a recent campaign by Mirinda by the name Release the Pressure. I don't know how many of you have seen it, in which they say teenagers write letters to their parents and they say to them, Mom or Dad, don't compare me in front of others in public with others. Why the only reason of my success is the marks that I am getting. I mean, I was a head boy of my school and I set a record which no one else should follow. Maybe the CAs will like it. I got 36 marks in my mathematics exam in class 12 and was merely able to pass my board examinations with a 56% only. However, despite the low marks, I'm still doing fairly well in my life. You know why marks are important? Marks are important because when Mrs. Jain goes to a kitty party and there are so many ladies who are surrounding her, her upbringing of her child depends upon the kind of marks that her daughter is getting. And then when Mr. Khan talks about with pride, when his chest swelled with pride, when he says that my son got a 95% in class 12, that accounts for more than all the other things that the child could have achieved. I go to so many schools and colleges, I take a lot of sessions there, and when I ask the question from the children, if I am going to a school, let's say to class 6 or class 7, if I ask people, how many of you wish to become astronauts, actors, actresses, pilots, the hands go up. And then when I visit a college where I talk to engineering students, and then if I ask the question, how many of you want to be, besides engineers, how many of you wish to become the Prime Minister of India or an astronaut, there is not even one single hand that goes up. Because what happens is, in the hustle bustle of life, due to the extreme pressure that has been applied on them, those dreams just vanished. I would like to show a few statistics to you as of now. The first is an image from Kota. You can just turn the laptop. The first is an image from Kota, which shows that there have been 57 suicides in Kota in the past 5 years. The situation became so alarming that the district authorities had to write letters to their parents to not put so much of undue pressure on their wards. And the major reason for that is that there is just a cutthroat competition to get into IIT, to get into JEEs, to clear all those examinations, that even a child's interest is not being taken care of. Let's look at the second slide. The second slide tells us that 1 out of every 4 college students as of now suffers from some form of mental illness. which means that about 25% of the youth today is undergoing some or the other problem. Now, how do we expect the country to progress when 25% of the youth is facing this problem? Just like I said, the Mirinda ad also told us that there are so many students who actually get into depression. And if I may add, there are only a few of them who are able to come out of it, because it is a very difficult situation to be in. The child cries whenever he or she is in the dark. The child is more nervous because he sees the same nervousness on his father's face when their examinations are near. And the child is also very unhappy because the parents have got no interest whatsoever in what the child is actually doing. Nothing but the marks matter. I believe that by now we would have agreed that parental pressure is one of the most trying circumstances that any student has to go through. And it is due to this that students get into peer pressure, they get into alcohol addictions, they get into drugs, and a lot of other things because they have got nothing else. What they think is that if we get into all these things, we'll be able to get away from these problems at least for, let's say, a few hours. They get peace out of it. However, there are a few solutions that we need to work upon, and we need to work upon them as of now. The first and the foremost thing is that the parents need to go and talk to the children and make them feel that, yes, you are my friend. Secondly, the parents also need to understand and talk to the students about what they are learning in the school, rather than the marks that they're getting. The third thing is that the parents should be interested in what the child's interest is. If you talk more about his or her interest, chances are that the bond will become much closer. One more thing which requires a lot of attention is, like all of you are sitting here in a club, whenever you have to take a decision, I'm sure you must be doing some polling or taking the inputs of everybody. Even if the parents have decided that this is what we need to do, you can always ask for the opinion of the child. How that would help is the child will feel that, okay, I am also important here. And the very most important factor is you should make your child feel that failing is okay, that you should learn from your failures. I mean, we would have been sitting in the dark if Thomas Alva Edison wouldn't have failed 10,000 times, right? I know that each and every parent loves their child, they care about their child, but what is the point when such love becomes obsession and children are molded into brainwashed, broken individuals? I tell you today, set them free, and one day your child will make you proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you.